Hi friends, welcome back to playing tribute to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations, third game in the Ace Attorney trilogy, original trilogy. We are on the first case, Turnabout Memories, and we're about to head into trial again to see if we can uncover some truth to the case with Mr. Phoenix Wright. He was our witness on the stand last time, but this time we're looking to see Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, his girlfriend, and apparently someone that Mia, who we are playing as right now, has a few suspicions about. So let's see how this plays out. Court will now reconvene. Mr. Payne, please call your witness.
This next person is someone who witnessed the crime as it happened. The prosecution calls Miss Dahlia Hawthorne to the stand.
What's with the stiff silence? In my long career as a judge, I have been deceived by many witnesses. It's my job to doubt, to take no one at their word. But in your case, I must admit that you radiate a glow of complete sincerity. I can't believe he actually said that. Get a hold of yourself.
Now then, witness, could you please state your full name?
Don't worry, sweetie. There's no need to be nervous.
If anyone says anything rude, you can be sure I'll cut them down right to size.
And I will bash them with my gavel. I love how they look straight at me when they say that. Thank you for calming my nerves. You are all so nice. I almost feel right at home.
Not at all.
It was nothing. If we may move on now, what is your full name and occupation? My name is Dahlia Hawthorne. I'm a junior in literature at Ivy University. I just want to say it's an honor for me to be here in your noble presence.
The honor is all mine.
No, the honor's all mine. Well, we know whose milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. Wow. I can't believe they just quoted that. Okay. Sir?
Is there something I can help you with?
You just go on and say whatever it is on your mind. I'm sure that there must be some kind of mistake. Feeny wouldn't kill anyone. I just know it. Yes, I can see why you'd say that. She's going to be a tough witness, all right. It only took her 12 seconds to wrap them all around her little finger. At least she's on our side for now. Now then, please proceed with your testimony. Let's hear about what you witnessed on the day of the incident, if you please. I had been planning to go back to Feeny's place after class was over. Feeny and Dougie, they were talking behind the building. And then suddenly, Dougie got all wobbly and just collapsed. That's when Feeny noticed that I was there. I went to go and find some other students, and they called the authorities. I don't know what to say. According to you, Miss Hawthorne, the defendant didn't do anything wrong.
Young lady, as old as I am, even I recall how hot the flames of young passion can burn. Nevertheless, it is my job to discover the truth. Please, tell us the truth.
But I would never. That's more than enough, witness. I won't allow this to continue. What do you mean by that? Please, just let me proceed with the cross-examination, Your Honor. I, for one, don't plan to win my case on a bunch of paper-thin lies. Teehee, you haven't changed a bit. Mia Fey.
What's this? So you two are acquainted?
Yes, we've met before. Once. In any case, Miss Fey, the floor is all yours. It's good to see you again, Madam Fey. Madam? I'm no one's grandma yet, girlie. She's just so pretty. Are you saying that the victim just collapsed on his own? Yes. In other words, the defendant never touched the victim, is that right? I was watching the whole time. Feeney never did a thing to Dougie. I press her for no good reason. I just know the judge will get angry with me. So what should I do about her testimony just now? Do I have the contradiction? No, they didn't give me the evidence. I'll hold off looking into any deeper until it's necessary. Very well, young lady. Please go on with your testimony. They never gave me the fingerprint on his jacket. So Feeney knew you were there. And what did Mr. Wright say when he saw you? I'm sorry. I was so flustered that I really don't remember. Please forgive me. You don't remember? Well, that's common enough. Sometimes I can't recall a sentence I passed only minutes prior. Please, someone, anyone, stop him before he gets hurt by me. And why did you call the authorities? When you say students, do you mean students from the pharmacology department? Yes, they're all very fond of drugs. Please try to stay on topic. So to find some pharmacology students, you went to the labs, correct? That's what I was planning to do, but in the end, I wound up not going. A group of about 10 research students came running out of the building entrance. Somehow they all seemed to know what was going on. The students knew what was going on? But how could the students have known what was going on? Well, I don't know for sure that they knew what had happened. It's just they all seemed kind of excited about something. Doesn't look like I'm going to get any more info about the students.
So did the students call the police?
Yes. I was so panicked.
Yes. Anyone would have been, my dear.
That girl, she's telling a super obvious lie, and she knows it. She's just pretending to protect Mr. Wright. Yes, that's got to be it. Way to go, Mia. Okay, that means I'm going to have to dig deep to find the contradiction on this one. Okay, I have to keep pressing because the evidence, I don't have it in my hand. Unless I'm mistaken, Mr. Wright is in the art department? If that's the case, then what were you doing by the pharmacology building? Well, I'm in the literature department. I'm studying Japanese scenery poetry.
Oh, how wonderful! It's that humorous yet satirical style of haiku, yes?
Nothing left to do when a man reaches this age. Sleep is his best friend. That's supposed to be poetry? Sounds more like a midlife crisis. For me to get to the art department, I have to walk through that back area.
Ah, yes, I see. That makes sense. When I want to enter the courthouse, I always walk through the front doors.
How else would you enter? Teleportation? So who is this Dougie person? Oh, I'm sorry, Doug Swallow. We were dating until about 8 months ago. So what were Mr. Swallow and Mr. Wright talking about anyway? How can you be so mean?
Why? Oh, right, because I'm accusing her of eavesdropping. Okay.
I would never eavesdrop. I wasn't raised to be so rude and unrefined.
That's right, Miss Fay. Don't drag the witness down to your level.
Why am I being demonized here?
Please go on. What did you see next?
He did not collapse on his own, and we know that. But I don't have evidence about it. Right? Why is the first case giving me an issue here? The first case shouldn't be giving me an issue. Feeble lies are not very becoming, Miss Hawthorne, so let's drop them, shall we? What? I would never...
Miss Fay, I would not allow you to badger this witness. I believe the defense is engaged in a fishing expedition. That is, she has no supporting... Please don't glare at me like that. I'm just doing my job.
Now then, Miss Hawthorne. The defendant's palm print was found on Mr. Swallow's leather jacket. Okay, so I don't have to give him that proof. Ah, come on, game. Don't do this to me so early. It has already been shown that Mr. Wright did, in fact, push the victim. What? There's no need to try to cover up for the defendant. It would be much better if you came out and told us the whole truth.
There's nothing to worry about, young lady. Just tell us everything that you saw.
Yes, Your Honor. I will. If you don't mind, I'd like to revise my testimony.
So we're finally getting somewhere.
Didn't see the moment he pushed Dougie. Didn't hear any noise either. Oh, that's a problem.
Objection!
We're not going to waste time pressing. That's a big, major contradiction right there. You say you didn't hear any noise, is that correct? Yes, that's why I was very relaxed, looking at the scenery around me. The raining scenery around you? That's nice, but I find that just a little odd. I have here the testimony of your boyfriend, Mr. Phoenix Wright, and he clearly testified to the effect that when he pushed the victim, he heard a sharp, loud noise. He said that. If you were really that close to the two of them, why didn't you hear this noise as well?
Well, maybe the noise just wasn't all that memorable.
But according to Mr. Wright's testimony, it was a sharp noise like a snap. There's no way a noise like that could fail to make an impression.
Ack!
May I have a moment to answer?
By all means.
I know the reason why I didn't hear the noise. You see, the truth is, I had my headphones on, and I was listening to music at the time.
Headphones? You mean that both of your ears were covered?
The rain was just beginning to let up, but it seemed as though Thor wasn't ready for his fun to come to an end yet. So the sky continued to flash and rumble. Thunder and lightning, huh? Yes, I'm afraid of the sound of thunder, so I put my headphones on to block it out.
Well, Your Honor, as you can see, there weren't any contradictions in her testimony after all.
Wait a sec, Mia. That testimony just now. She said something that could totally change this whole case.
There was lightning. He was electrocuted.
Your Honor, there's a problem with the witness's testimony.
What do you mean?
Didn't you notice? She said there was lightning, correct?
Yes, what about it?
Yeah, because nothing about what she heard was important. Well, lightning is actually a large discharge of electricity in the atmosphere, am I right?
Now, it's not the time for a science lesson, Miss Fay.
Yes, Your Honor. Anyway, since the cause of death was electrocution, isn't it possible that the victim died from being hit by a bolt of lightning?
I must admit that the thought had not occurred to me.
Just what kind of thoughts do occur to this guy, anyway? This entire case is built on the premise that Mr. Doug Swallow was murdered. But that very premise itself is mistaken. The defense believes that Mr. Swallow was, in fact, the victim of a stray bolt.
It appears the defense may be onto something. Could it be that the death was actually accidental?
All right, you did it, Mia. I'll be taking that not guilty now if you don't.
I'm hurt that you have such a low opinion of me, Miss Fay.
Huh?
I am not a fool, you know. The prosecution has done its research, Your Honor. We found that there were no lightning strikes on that day at that location.
Oh, thorough.
What's more, we have evidence that the electrical cable is definitely linked to this case.
Evidence, Mr. Payne? Well, what is this evidence?
This affidavit.
And who is this affidavit from?
The pharmacology students who were conducting experiments in their labs that day. Allow me to read out to the court the testimony of the pharmacology students. All equipment in the labs lost power all of a sudden at around 3 p.m. that day.
Was it a blackout?
All of the lab's equipment runs on high voltage, Your Honor.
So you're saying the equipment lost power because...
Precisely. They lost power because of the severed electrical cable. The power outage occurred at approximately 3 p.m.
Which fits with the time of death listed on the autopsy report.
Exactly. In other words, the victim died as a result of touching the severed electrical cable. According to the students, the cables were very old. They were planning on having them replaced in the near future.
I see.
Apparently, the cables had become so brittle that even the smallest bump would have caused them to break.
Cool. However, there's one thing that troubles me. If the cable could have been broken by any small bump, then it wouldn't have snapped if it hadn't been bumped into, correct?
Well, I suppose you could say that.
Miss Fay, do you have any thoughts regarding the cause of the severed cable?
Your Honor.
I don't like how this is looking one bit. I have to come up with something to try to regain some momentum. If it pleases the court, the defense would like to state its opinion. Well, then let's hear it. Who or what was it that caused the cable to break? Well, that's interesting. Was it the umbrella? Was it Doug himself? Was it Phoenix pushing Doug into a pole? No, it wasn't the umbrella. He fell on top of the umbrella. What caused it to break? I think I might have to say that it was Phoenix. Whenever he pushed him. Right? Right? Your Honor, please think back to Mr. Wright's testimony. The defendant's testimony? He said that after he pushed the victim, he heard a loud, sharp noise. Now, this happened at around 3 p.m., correct? Yes, that sounds right. Wait, are you saying that the lab equipment lost power at 2:55 p.m., which fits right in Mr. Wright's timeline? In other words, it was Mr. Wright's shove that caused the power outage.
Yes, the prosecution also came to that same conclusion, and it was that very shove that caused Mr. Swallow to be electrocuted.
I'm afraid I can't agree with you there, Mr. Payne.
What's that supposed to mean?
Take a good look at where the victim landed after being shoved. See the umbrella? It's by the electrical pole. That's right, the victim banged into that pole as a result of being pushed. It was that impact that caused the cable to break. Well, that makes sense. And then the victim was electrocuted. I'm sorry, Your Honor, but no, it doesn't make sense at all. If the victim was shoved into the far pole, then he couldn't have been electrocuted by the severed cable in the foreground here. In other words, someone other than my client must have electrocuted the victim. Order in the court! Ah, the lamentations of my enemy. How I've longed to hear them. It's true, the defense is absolutely correct. There doesn't seem to be any way the defendant could have done it. Mr. Judge, sir? May I say something? The Madam Attorney's explanation. She said some things that are a little different than I remember them. What the?
Please, just once more. May I please testify one last time? Please, Mr. Judge.
Of course it's alright. Just go right ahead and give your new testimony. This is it. She's finally starting to show her true colors. So much for defending your boyfriend.
The truth is, Feeney pushed him twice. The first time was into the electrical pole. That's when the cable broke. Then Dougie tried his best to run away from him. But Feeney caught up and crashed into him from behind. The cable snapping and Dougie being electrocuted, it all occurred in less than a minute.
Okay. I found the problem. Because I had this problem before, but now I get to use it. Yay. Now I have to figure out how to use it, though. What evidence to show and all that. So after being shoved, the victim got up and tried to run away. And that's when the defendant pushed him for the second time.
I'm so sorry, Feeney, but I just have to tell the truth. Am I doing the right thing? Am I, Mr. Judge?
Of course you are, my dear. As painful as it may seem, you are. Now then, Miss Fay, you may proceed with your cross-examination. So my problem is here. Did you actually witness the moment the victim was electrocuted?
I'm sorry, I didn't actually see it. I turned my eyes away.
That's understandable.
Yes, indeed. It would have been a horrific sight for anyone to behold. If I don't figure out the contradiction here, it's all over. She didn't have much time to come up with her lies, so this is my best chance. There must be a hole in her testimony somewhere. Think, Mia. Okay. Let's make sure that I'm not missing anything. But I do want to look at the court record here, because we do have some important information. We have the power cable broke at 2:55 because of an impact. And we also have the exact time of death at 3 p.m. Even more so here on his watch. It's like 3:05. So it did not happen within a minute. That's where I am. I just need to figure out how to present that.
I know he doesn't look it, but Feeney can be a bit of an imp when he wants to be.
Oh, really?
But I never imagined that he would cause an electrical cable to break. Feeney really is scary when he gets mad.
Yes, he sounds like a very dangerous individual indeed. Oh my gosh. Dougie tried his best to run away from him. Feeney caught up and crashed from behind. That doesn't sound quite right. There were handprints found on the chest of the victim's leather jacket. Mr. Payne, were there also prints found on the back of the leather jacket?
Well, no, there weren't.
Madam Fay, I suggest that you listen a little more carefully. I said that he crashed into him from behind, right? My Feeney wouldn't leave any prints behind in that case, would he? Okay. Alright, it was the photo. Yes! I'm back. I'm not struggling too much. Yeah, I don't really play this case often because, you know, tutorial case or whatever. So I have at least that excuse. I won't have that excuse for later cases in the game, namely my favorite one, but we'll get there. That's enough, witness. I'm afraid I don't understand.
You will in a minute. Could you please take a look at this picture?
Oh, that medicine. That's the one Feeney likes to take for his cold.
It's not the medicine I want you to look at.
It's the wristwatch. It stopped at the precise time the victim was electrocuted. In other words, 3:05 p.m.
Yes, and your point is, Miss Fay?
My point is this. What time was it when the labs suffered that power outage due to the cable snapping?
Well, according to the student's testimony, the answer's clear. It was 2:55 p.m. Yeah!
Would you care to explain to the court, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne, what exactly happened during that 10-minute interval? The defense proposes that it was during this interval the real murderer killed Mr. Doug Swallow.
Order in the court. This is all...
This is nonsense! The real murderer...
Even you can't deny that the time between the cable breaking and the electrocution are completely unaccounted for.
Then who was it? Who else are you saying could have done it?
There's only one person who could have murdered Mr. Swallow. Only after my client had left the scene was there a window of opportunity for the real killer.
Miss Fay, is the defense ready to indict someone as the real killer?
It's finally time. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Yes, Your Honor. We are ready.
Very well, but remember, if you accuse the wrong person, you will be penalized. Think very carefully before you speak, Miss Fay.
I feel like he's not going to like it either way. So this is the only tutorial case that we weren't kind of given the criminal in view beforehand, but in enough implications, I guess, that Mia is after this woman for some reason, we can present Dahlia Hawthorne as the real killer. It could only have been you, Dahlia Hawthorne. What? How can you...
The defense is grasping at straws.
10 minutes passed between the time the cable broke and the time of the electrocution. What exactly were you doing that whole time, Miss Hawthorne? Were you really listening to some music while cheering them both on as they fought? I find that hard to believe, that you didn't lift a finger to stop the men dearest to you.
Order, Miss Fay. I mean, why, that is to say...
Miss Hawthorne, I believe you did witness the two men fighting on that day. However, after Mr. Wright pushed the victim and subsequently left the scene, it was you who pushed Mr. Swallow to his death by your very own hands. How can you say something so mean, Madame Fay? I didn't do anything.
Miss Fay, this is a very serious charge you are...
That was a voice that I didn't expect to hear in this case. Your Honor, please, I have something I want to say.
You? What is it?
Please strike everything the defense said just now from the record. What the... Are you daft? You're totally wrong, Miss Fay. Dolly, she couldn't do something like that.
Mr. Wright, get back to your seat. Bailiff, grab that man.
Ah! Leave my Dolly alone.
That boy. He's gotten himself in way over his head.
Oh, Mr. Grossberg, you're back.
It seems I've arrived just in the nick of time. I found the police report on that incident in your newspaper clipping.
Oh, thank you. I'm going to look at that right now. Thank you so much. This is exactly what I was hoping for. Suspect Dahlia Hawthorne, age 19. There we go. Everything that we need to know, probably, to finish this case.
You'd better take a good look at it. It, details how you came to lose your boyfriend.
I did not know that they said that so soon in this game, but yeah. Cool. Now then, the defense has made a very serious accusation. Mr. Payne, what do you have to say about this?
Well, really, Your Honor, that is,
May I interrupt you for just a moment, Mr. Prosecutor?
Don't you worry, my dear. I have the situation well in hand. That is, go right ahead.
Madam Faye, are you seriously accusing me of killing my sweet Dougie? Yes, I am. Not only am I saying you murdered Doug Swallow, but you also tried to pin the whole thing on your current lover, Phoenix Wright.
I told you that you should let me handle this. Sorry. Please go ahead.
How can you say that? I'm absolutely devoted to my dear Feeny. The notion that I would try to frame him is ludicrous. This is all just too much for my poor little me to bear.
I believe the girl is trying to ask what on earth her motive would be. The answer to that lies somewhere in this police report. It must. 8 months ago, an incident occurred in the basement cafeteria of this building. And then, that same day, the two of them accidentally meet. Your Honor, the defense requests further testimony from Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. Further testimony? What about?
About the events of the day when she first met the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
What could that possibly have to do with this case?
Everything. The witness claims that she had no reason to frame the defendant, am I correct? Well, I have evidence that suggests that she, in fact, had a very good reason.
Very well, then. The court grants the defense's request. Young lady, would you mind staying on for just a bit longer?
Of course not, Mr. Judge.
Get ready for the battle of your life, Dahlia Hawthorne.
How I Met My Feeny. I first met my darling Feeny 8 months ago. It's like we were destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room. The moment our eyes met, my heart skipped a beat. We've been going out ever since that fateful day. We're so lovey-wovey, we literally make people sick. It's just jealousy, I think.
Oh, I was about to say, wait, why did it say Phoenix in that one? Because that was him. We're so lovey-dovey, it makes people sick. We're so great that way. Mr. Wright, you do that again, and you will be held in contempt of court.
And now we enter the final act of our little drama.
As we used to say in the days of my youth, go get her.
I'm gonna press everything. So until that time, you had been dating Doug Swallow? Yes, I'm never a fool, you know. Letting my emotions change so quickly. I'm ashamed of myself.
No, not at all. Look at me! I'm infamous for changing my mind. My critics have even taken to calling me Judge Fickle.
Maybe you should look for a different line of work.
Despite that, however, he always hands down the correct verdict. And that's why some people also call him the Great Judge Genie.
Okay. I'm glad that I pressed that. That was great. Destined to meet in this very courthouse's basement reading room. The courthouse reading room. That's a strange place to meet the love of your life. That's not true, Madam Faye. After all, Feeny was not only an art student, but he was also planning on becoming a lawyer. I'm not talking about him. I'm talking about you, Miss Hawthorne. What was a literature student like you doing in a courthouse reading room?
This line of questioning is a waste of time. It has nothing to do with our murder case.
Miss Faye, I'm warning you. If this has nothing to do with Mr. Swallow's case,
I have to remember the judge is on Dahlia's side. I'd better tread carefully. Your Honor, if you'll allow me some latitude, I think I can establish relevance. Please ask her to continue on with her testimony.
Very well. Young lady, I've got a simple question for you. What were you doing downstairs in the courthouse reading room?
If it pleases Your Honor, the answer is simply this.
You were writing a paper? On what? On the relationship between modern genre poetry and the criminal underworld.
Oh, that sounds like a fascinating research idea.
Am I getting old? Now I've even forgotten what I've forgotten.
Again, with the midlife crisis stuff. Why did that girl really come to the courthouse? Isn't that what you wanted to know? And speaking of forgetting things, you haven't forgotten the police report, have you? I went through a lot of trouble to get it, my dear, so be sure to read it carefully. Blah 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 lovey-dovey stuff. Okay. So, this is the place. Research for paper I was writing. Yeah, right, buddy. Because this actually says that she was being questioned.
Miss Hawthorne, you weren't here because of your research paper, were you? Didn't you actually come here for a much more important reason?
Yeah, it's in the records, man. You're not hiding anything from us.
What's the meaning of that cocky smile on your face, Miss Fay?
8 months ago, right here in this very courthouse, there was another tragedy.
Another tragedy?
Do you mean the incident in which an attorney was poisoned?
The name of the suspect in that incident is listed here in this report. And that name is Dahlia Hawthorne.
Dahlia Hawthorne?
Yes, the sweetie pie of everyone's eye, Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. She was the prime suspect in the criminal case just 8 months ago.
She didn't look very happy. Order, order. This is unbelievable. It's true then. The loveliest rose can hide the cruelest thorn.
Miss Fay, that's not fair. You can't slander my witness with an unrelated case. I, Winston Payne, will not allow it.
Mr. Prosecutor, I believe I was speaking.
Pardon me. Go right ahead.
It's true that about 8 months ago, the police expressed some interest in me.
Expressed some interest, huh?
Mr. Judge, sir, I know I'm under oath, so I'll tell you the absolute truth. I did not commit the crime that occurred during that incident 8 months ago.
I see.
Okay, I've tied the two crimes together. Now I've just got to stay on the offensive.
Well done, Mia. Oh, you've really lit a fire in my heart and my buttocks. I can hardly tell which is more inflamed. My spirits or my hemorrhoids. Oh, Grossberg, come on, man.
I met the lawyer who was poisoned to discuss something in the cafeteria that day. I left my seat for just a moment, and that's when it happened. From what I heard, it was a liquid poison that was lethal, just 2 teaspoons. Not only that, I heard it was a very special kind of poison. So you see, I'm innocent. I wouldn't even know to get a poison like that.
Yeah. So that's what happened here 8 months ago.
However, as you heard from the witness's testimony, she had nothing to do with it. I think the defense is just about out of tricks.
I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Payne, but I'm afraid the defense has many more tricks up its sleeve today. And I'll be sure to show them to you before the end of this cross-examination.
Why does the defense suddenly feel stronger?
Ha! Mia, you're glowing with a true lawyer's aura, my dear. That proud posture and self-confidence, absolutely smashing. No need to waste any time. Let's learn about the poison and go from there. About how much liquid is 2 teaspoons? Well, let me see. My bottle of eye drops is a half fluid ounce, which is equal to 3 teaspoons.
So it's about 2/3 of that amount, huh? The poison was found in the lawyer's mug of coffee. It must have been after I left the table. Someone must have quietly slipped it in there.
She can cry on demand. That's impressive. Special kind of poison. Yeah, I'm sure you heard all of this stuff. I'm just trying to find Okay. Actually, hold on. Okay.
Special kind of poison. Go on.
A special kind of poison? How so? Well, I heard that it's almost impossible to detect.
Oh, and where would something like that come from?
Sorry, all I know is what I overheard the policeman saying. They said something about using advanced chemical processes to purify it.
Chemical processes? Well, that's quite impressive. Most impressive.
The better question is, how did the criminal get something like that?
Wouldn't know where to get poison like that.
And that's the reason they didn't arrest you? Because no one could show how you could have gotten the poison? I think that's a good enough reason, Madam Faye.
She's right. And I think we've all had enough of Miss Faye's questions.
So in essence, the main reason that Miss Hawthorne was never arrested for this crime was because no one could show how she could have obtained the poison.
And all we have to do is find a way to establish how she could have gotten some, right? Great. Now just how did a literature student get a hold of poison of all things?
Okay. I'm gonna start with this. Yeah. And then go from there.
You wouldn't know how to get that kind of poison? I don't believe you. What?
In fact, you had easy access to that kind of poison, didn't you? At your boyfriend's lab. Boyfriend? You mean the victim, Doug Swallow?
That's right. Up until 8 months ago, Miss Hawthorne was dating Mr. Swallow. And if you'll recall, Mr. Swallow was a pharmacology student at Ivy University.
Pharmacology.
His laboratory contained highly advanced chemistry equipment. In fact, without such equipment, the culprit could never have obtained such a rare and special poison. Well, Miss Hawthorne, seems you have access to such a poison after all. And then it was a matter of slipping it into the victim's coffee when he wasn't looking. The only person who could have done that was the one sitting at his very table. You.
Order! Could it be?
That's nothing but a baseless accusation.
May I say something, Madam Faye?
What is it, Miss Hawthorne?
The amount of poison in the coffee was 2 teaspoons, correct? In order to carry that much liquid, you would need some kind of container.
Well, yes, that's true.
I was searched immediately after the incident took place.
Quite true. In fact, the entire courthouse was turned upside down.
But they didn't find a suspicious container anywhere, did they?
She's right. They even mentioned that in the report. Well, you could have easily gotten rid of something that small.
Excuse me, madam, but this is a court of law. If you're saying I threw the poison container away, I think you need to show some kind of proof.
She got me good with that. Provide some evidence, or I'll have to disallow this line of questioning, Miss Faye. Unless we can come up with some evidence, we're going to lose the lead.
The police conducted a full-body search of Dahlia and the entire courthouse. And yet the container holding the poison disappeared right after the crime occurred.
If you're going to accuse the young lady of committing the murder, then where is the container of the poison was carried in? What happened to it? I think it's all coming together now. You were forced to get rid of the container in a hurry, weren't you? And that's why you passed it on to someone that had nothing to do with the case. Someone that you knew wouldn't be searched. Who is this person?
Mr. Phoenix Wright, of course.
So the defendant was this witness's accomplice?
Of course not. She gave the poison to him, disguised, as a present. What? But that's...
That's a charming little necklace. Is this a little bottle? It's really quite cute. So what about it? What does it mean, Miss Faye?
The day that the witness met and fell for Mr. Phoenix Wright was 8 months ago. August 27th, the very same day as the poisoning incident.
Under the pretense of love, the witness gave my client a present. All for the purpose of hiding the one piece of evidence that would give her away.
Are you saying there's deadly poison in here?
No, there's no longer any poison in that bottle. However, I'm certain if the crime lab were to analyze it, they would find a trace amount.
Order in the court. On behalf of Dolly, I object.
Mr. Wright, control yourself.
I won't let you bully her like this. Mr. Wright, I thought I told you to stay in your seat.
Mr. Wright, why? Why are you going through so much trouble to protect her?
Why? Because I'm madly in love with her.
You're sweet.
Madly in love. I haven't heard anyone say that in a long time.
Mr. Wright, have you ever thought about this? Why exactly would a woman like Dahlia Hawthorne want to date you anyway?
That is just mean. Well, I guess she must be madly in love with me, too.
Mr. Wright, please open your eyes. At this point in the trial, I think it should be obvious to everyone. The real reason that Dahlia Hawthorne is dating you is... Dahlia Hawthorne was not and is not madly in love with you. The only thing she's after is that bottle necklace you love to wear around your neck. My necklace? Back there in the waiting room, you said it to yourself.
Every time he sees her, please give it back now.
For Dahlia Hawthorne, that necklace is irrefutable evidence of her crime. That's why she absolutely had to get it back.
You're lying.
But you never gave it back to her. And to make things worse for her, you insisted on showing it to everyone you met. That's why she... I don't believe you.
No, that's a lie. I made my client cry again.
That was way too fast.
Mia, are you alright?
Yes, I think so.
That boy, he went completely insane.
Where's Mr. Wright?
It looks like the bailiff caught him, so he should be brought back here soon.
Thank goodness. Oh no!
What is it?
The bottle necklace. Miss Hawthorne's present. It's gone.
What? That's terrible.
Mr. Wright must have grabbed it when he slammed into me.
Foolish boy. That's the only thing that could have saved him. What in the blazes are we supposed to do now? Mr. Wright, this sort of behavior is unprecedented in the history of this court.
I'm sorry.
I'm afraid that your apology is not enough.
Mr. Wright, what did you do with the bottle necklace? Forgive me, I'm sorry. It's okay, just give back the necklace.
I ate it.
You what?
You ate it?
It was too big to swallow, so I had to chew it into little bits first, but yeah. What the...
What?
What is he doing now?
Your Honor, you've got to stop the trial. Mr. Wright! Mr. Wright, are you feeling okay? Does your stomach hurt? That bottle you swallowed may have had some poison left in it.
It seems that the defendant has proven the prosecution's case for us. Clearly, that bottle did not contain a deadly poison.
How can you be so sure?
I think that's obvious. As you can see, the defendant is still very much alive. As for the poison, more like a fledgling defense attorney's overactive imagination.
So it would seem.
No, there must be some mistake. The bottle must not have had any poison left in it. Either that or the poison must have lost its potency.
There. It's all right, Rookie. Trusting your clients is the most noble thing a defense attorney can do, and it's heartwarming to see that you've placed this much faith in Mr. Wright. But that's how it is for us on the prosecution side, too. For example, I would trust the witness, Miss Hawthorne, with my very life. Which is why I can state that your assessment of her is completely wrong.
You would trust her with your life? Really? That's enough. Unfortunately, Miss Fay, I cannot accept your explanation of the events. But why? This may be impossible for a beginner like you to understand, but in a court of law, evidence is everything. Even though I've proven so much, is she going to get away with everything? Well, now that the suspicion surrounding Miss Hawthorne has been cleared up, I would like to proceed with the trial. Mr. Wright. I'm sorry, Miss Fay. It totally slipped my mind. I'm really, really sorry. I know you believed in me, and I feel like I really let you down. Mr. Wright, what are you trying to say? There's something I forgot to tell you. What is it? That day? The day I met Doug Swallow? Last night someone stole some poison from our lab. Poison? The same thing happened 8 months ago. A drug sample was stolen. She came into the lab that time, too. It could only have been her. That girl is a thief. Stop it! Don't talk about her like that. Is it true? Did he really say that?
That's ridiculous!
There's one more thing. After I pushed him that day, I got worried and came back to have a look. And she was there. Dolly was right there. She was crouched down next to him. What? She told me not to ever tell anyone about it, but I'm sorry, Dolly.
Your Honor, this is the defendant is...
Miss Fay, you tell them. Dolly didn't do it. She's innocent. So Dahlia stole poison 8 months ago, too, huh? If you put that together with Mr. Wright's testimony, then there's only one possible conclusion. The defense believes that Miss Dahlia Hawthorne stole some poison on the night before she killed Doug Swallow. The night before? Naturally, her motive for stealing it was to kill someone. Miss Fay, if you're so certain of your theory, then let me ask you this. Yeah, this is your last chance. Think carefully now. There's something that she desperately wanted to get back. Therefore, exactly who was Miss Dahlia Hawthorne planning to kill? There was one person that was standing squarely in Miss Dahlia Hawthorne's way. And that person was Mr. Phoenix Wright. Me?
That's preposterous! After all, it was Doug Swallow that was murdered.
Well, it's true that that's how things worked out. But let's remember that Mr. Swallow died of electrocution, not poison. The person that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison was, in fact, you, Phoenix Wright. There's no one else that it could be. But how can that be? I thought Mr. Wright and Miss Hawthorne were in love. Poor Mr. Wright. This must be killing him. Hang in there. I'll bring her to justice. I swear it. As I said before, the only thing Miss Hawthorne truly cared about was the one piece of evidence linking her to that incident 8 months ago. That's right. The bottle necklace. That's all she cared about. But even so, why would she go so far as to murder him? 8 months ago, just after the fall of that attorney in the basement cafeteria, Dahlia Hawthorne could think of only one thing: how to get rid of the bottle necklace as quickly as possible. No, it can't be. It was a pretty good move she made, too. The evidence was missing for a long time. But there was just one big problem. Although she got him to hide the evidence, Mr. Wright refused to return it to her. To him, that tiny little bottle was a cherished treasure. He even showed it to everyone he met. You mean that's why she tried to kill Mr. Wright? Correct, Your Honor. It was to retrieve that piece of evidence. That can't be true!
Feeny, what a joke you are. Oh, look. It's the true Dahlia Hawthorne. Honestly, how can any woman ever count on you for anything? I even told you time and time again to keep your trap shut about me and that necklace. You disgust me.
Miss Hawthorne!
It appears that this trial will be coming to an end soon. Fine, I can tell you plan on making me into a criminal no matter what I say.
You are a criminal, Miss Hawthorne.
We'll see about that. But first, where's your evidence? Seems your sniffling little crybaby of a client has eaten the bottle as a snack. Hey, old man, are you senile or something? Why don't you say something instead of sitting there with that dumb look on your face?
Miss Hawthorne, what's happened to you?
Are you really that shocked? Or do you prefer me this way, Mr. Judge? With absolutely no proof, you treat a voluntary witness like she's a mass murderer. Well, I have nothing more to say. I'll be heading home now, if you don't mind.
But you're not finished.
Fine. Then ask this nasty old hag to finish up already.
This sprite is terrifying. Like, there's something uncanny valley about this sprite. It's not great to look at. It is creepy. It is really creepy. I think it's like her neck is too long and the shadow on her face is creepy. I can't let her get away this time. Stop, Mia. If you keep on pushing without any evidence, you could pay the ultimate price as a lawyer. The ultimate price? Disbarment? Yeah. You'd be forced to take off your attorney's badge forever, I'm afraid. No. Creepy uncanny valley part.
You'd better think it over carefully, Miss Fay. Or should I say, Miss Gray?
Well, Miss Fay, can you provide evidence that would establish her guilt once and for all? If I mess up here, my career as a lawyer is over. But to be honest, at this point I don't have any evidence that's well-founded. Even so, I'd rather lose my attorney's badge than let her get away with murder. Your Honor, the defense would like to present proof.
Impossible. You can't possibly.
Stupid woman. It is the opinion of the court that there has already been enough discussion. Therefore, I will allow only one piece of evidence to be presented. Just one. If you are unable to establish your guilt, then I'm afraid that a very harsh verdict will immediately be handed down on Mr. Wright. I understand, Your Honor.
I can just imagine the headlines for tomorrow's newspaper. Up-and-coming lawyer plummets to earth before she gets the chance to soar.
She was planning to poison Mr. Wright. If that's the case, then the poison was probably in there. Well then, Miss Fay, please present your evidence. Show this court irrefutable proof that Miss Hawthorne was planning to poison Mr. Wright. I'm going to give it a moment for you guys. She was planning on poisoning Mr. Wright, so the poison was in there. Here it is, Your Honor. The evidence that will prove her guilt once and for all. It disappeared at lunchtime, when he had lunch with her. Cold Killer X, Phoenix Wright's beloved cold medicine.
Does our rookie defense attorney have a bit of a cold?
If I did, I still wouldn't take this cold medicine. After all, it's been poisoned.
What?
Remember what the defendant said in his testimony. Lost his bottle at lunchtime. Always eats with Dolly. She was the one who took his bottle of Cold Killer X. Then she poisoned it, knowing that Mr. Wright was going to take some.
Now you're really grasping at straws. After all, it was the victim, Doug Swallow, that was holding the medicine.
I would like the court to recall the crime that happened here 8 months ago. Where did Miss Hawthorne hide the evidence?
What are you talking about?
8 months ago, the poison was hidden in her bottle necklace, which she then gave to someone else for safekeeping. Someone she had accidentally run into in the reading room, my client, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes, that's right. She did the same thing this time as well. After shoving the victim, Mr. Phoenix Wright left the scene of the crime. That was when the murderer, Dahlia Hawthorne, appeared. With her, she was carrying the poisoned bottle of Cold Killer X. This, of course, was so she could carry out her plan to murder Mr. Wright.
I believe she did testify that she was going to meet with the defendant.
Yes, and she heard and saw everything that happened at the scene of the crime, including what the defendant and victim were arguing about, and the cut electrical cable. That's when she realized I can't allow Doug Swallow to live. She used the severed electrical cable to silence him forever. Unfortunately for her, this is where the problem occurred. Mr. Wright, who she thought had left the scene, came back to check on the victim. And on top of that, because of the power outage, some students showed up as well. It's hardly any wonder that she was, as she put it, in a state of panic. Recall that she was carrying that bottle of poisoned cold medicine. She must have thought, what if they searched me like they did 8 months ago?
8 months ago?
Yes, she disposed of the evidence exactly the same way as she did back then. She had someone else hold it. In this case, Doug Swallow. Oh, come on now, everyone. Surely you aren't fooled, are you? This stupid woman is just nothing but a filthy, stinking liar. Right, Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes, that's exactly right. It's just pure desperation.
I wonder which one of us is the desperate one. So, Miss Hawthorne, this cold medicine. I wonder if you wouldn't mind taking some? Well, Mr. Wright ate that necklace of yours, right? Now it's your turn to prove your innocence. What do you say? If I'm just a filthy, stinking liar, then there's no need to worry. So come on, show us. I dare you to take some of this medicine right now. Mia Fey! Mia Fey! Do you think you've won? Well, do you, Mia Fey? That's just fine. For the time being. Victory is yours. For the time being. Well, I have a very long memory, you know. You and I will meet again. I'm certain of it. Well then, Mr. Judge. I'll see you later too. Okay?
Huh? Yes?
I'm going to go spend a little quality time with the men in blue now. I wish you all the best. That was a really pleasant breakdown of a witness. Whew. It's finally all over.
I refuse to accept this. The defense hasn't shown a scrap of evidence to support their outrageous claim. But even so, your witness seems to have accepted it. I don't care. I'm Winston Payne, and I don't believe one word this rookie lawyer has said.
Well then, Mr. Payne, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Would you care to try this cold medicine?
What?
just a little earlier, I could have sworn you said... So if she's so trustworthy, then I'm sure there couldn't possibly be any poison in here, right?
You see, yes.
And here comes the backpedal. Come on now, rookie killer. Show this rookie how it's done. How much trust do you really have for this woman? Are you willing to bet your life?
My hair is flying off! My beautiful hair, no! Wah!
And that's how he became the Winston Payne we know and love today. Mr. Payne, about Miss Dahlia Hawthorne.
Yes, Your Honor. I'll file papers for her immediate arrest.
Tragic, but not surprising. I knew there was something suspicious about her from the very beginning. Don't lie, just admit you were wrong. By the way, Miss Faye. Yes, Your Honor. You said earlier that you and Miss Dahlia Hawthorne knew each other? Your Honor, how we knew each other had nothing to do with this case. Very well. Mr. Payne.
This can't be happening. It's a nightmare. It's like losing to my daughter.
It appears Mr. Payne has lost his spirit along with his hair. Does the defendant have anything further to say? It can't be true. My dear Dolly. Very well then. I believe I'm ready to pass judgment and bring this trial to an end. The court finds the defendant, Phoenix Wright, not guilty. Yay! This court is adjourned. Mia, you were wonderful in there. Thank you for everything, Mr. Grossberg. During the verdict, I thought my hemorrhoids were going to explode like Mount Vesuvius. Mr. Grossberg, do you maybe think you could stop talking about them? That's rather rude. Anyway, this case really made me think. What does it really mean to have a relationship of mutual trust with a client? Perhaps it is we veteran lawyers who have lost sight of this. Oh, Mr. Wright. Congratulations. Thanks. I was thinking... Go on. The dolly that I saw up there on the witness stand, I don't think that was really her. What? Yeah, the dolly I know could never have said those kinds of terrible things. Maybe she was like, I don't know, a fake or something. Boy, this poor kid still hasn't got a clue. You need to forget about her, Mr. Wright, for your own sake. Yeah, you're right. That's probably for the best. Also, you need to relax a bit more. Try to grow up a little. But out of all my friends, everyone says I'm the most grown up. Well, I mean, if they're comparing you to Larry Buds. What kind of company must this guy keep? Right now, I'm studying to become a lawyer myself. That's what you keep saying. But I thought you were in the art department. Well, yeah, I guess I am. But there's a friend that I desperately want to help. And if I hurry, then I should be able to save him in time. I see. Say, Miss Faye, a lawyer is someone who can help people when they're in trouble, right? Mr. Wright, I'm still new at this myself. But I think that's exactly what a lawyer is. Okay, I'm going to do it. I'll study my butt off. I'll become a lawyer for sure. I hope. I hope we see each other again someday. Maybe even in court. He's so sweet. You gotta love Phoenix. It's been 5 years since I was acquitted of all charges. I became a lawyer like I planned and managed to save my friend. But Mia has passed on to a better place. For me, this trial brings up a lot of painful memories. But it also brings up some very precious ones. Memories that I thought would never rise to the surface again. Mia is gone now, but even so, I can hear her in my mind. Phoenix, no matter what, always believe in your client. In a court of law, your greatest weapon is your belief. 5 long years. Something has happened that's made me think back to her words of wisdom. But that is a story for another day. Yeah, this one has a bit of an overarching sort of plot. Sorry, I got excited because this next episode is my favorite. But yeah, this game has more of an overarching sort of plot. So, a lot of the cases kind of link together. But yeah, that was Turnabout Memories. I got nervous for a second there that it was going to throw me off, and it should be the easier cases, or the easier case because it is the first one, the tutorial case or whatever. But yeah, Dahlia Hawthorne, and into the shoes of Mia Fey for this one, and getting to see Phoenix as a defendant, which is always fun. Thoughts about the case overall? It's good. I like it. I think it's not too tutorial-y. Like, whenever Grossberg leaves, like, that's your big I'm on my own kind of thing. Like, he doesn't even talk to you for the second half of the case, or most of the second half of the case, until he comes back with that evidence for you. But yeah, it didn't seem to go through the tutorial to, like, I don't know, it didn't really take up that much time or get that annoying. And I think that's something that all of these games have been. Like, they haven't been too annoying with the tutorials. I think that the worst one is probably the second game's tutorial. Just, there's a lot of back and forth going there, and a lot of dialogue with your client, with Maggie helping you out. And that kind of back and forth. And I think that's mostly annoying because it is Phoenix. It's someone who, like, is used to this, and it was just like a memory loss kind of thing. And I don't know. I guess it's just the way that they did it was a little more annoying than in the first game, where it's like, okay, well, you are a rookie, so. And then the first case is super easy. It's only one part too, whereas this one, you're kind of a rookie. Like, she's been in court before, but it works as that, and then it walks you through it, but it doesn't walk you through in an annoying way. It teaches you what it needs to teach you and moves along. So, if you recall, also one of the gimmicks of these games is that the Maya's Magatama and doing the psyche locks, and so that's going to have to be retaught to us as well, which is probably something that we're going to see in episode 2. But yeah, overall, it's good, and I like that little, I like the way that they subtly gave us the clue to accuse Dahlia, because we don't know what happened. Like, as the player, we don't know what happened. As Mia, we don't know what happened. But we have that suspicion towards Dahlia from the start, because Mia has that past with her. So I like that it didn't reveal right away. Like, you didn't know right away this is the person who killed. Like, in the first game, you got the actual crime. You saw the actual crime, so you saw the criminal. And in the second game, you saw the criminal knock Phoenix over the head. So this was a nice, like, subtle hint towards who the bad guy was, so it would make it a little bit easier to accuse in this first tutorial case. But yeah, overall, playing as Mia is fun too. It's nice to get some new characters, because Phoenix is great, but it's fun to kind of, like, play in another person's shoes, and this game does that. So I think I've said all of my piece about this. It's also fun to see her, like, her younger self here, and you can see her here on the screen with her little slightly different outfit, I guess, and different hairstyle and that. So it's fun how they kind of make things in the past. Like Phoenix's hair was a little bit scraggly. It's not as sharply pointed and spiked as it is in Court. But yeah, I do love this game, how it has that overarching sort of story. Because the first game kind of had that sort of thing. Like, they kept talking about the DL6 incident. It came up a lot, but it wasn't really fully evident throughout the entire game. And then the second game really didn't have anything. But really, the entire trilogy has an overarching thing going on, and you'll see more of that peek through as we play through this game. But next time, we're going to get started in the Stolen Turnabout, which is my all-time favorite case. I love it. I love it. I think it's very clever, and the way that they do it, and I love the client. And I don't want to say too much about it, because I want you guys to be able to watch and enjoy it with me. So we'll get to that next time, and I'm glad you've been watching. I'm glad you've been enjoying. Well, hopefully you've been enjoying. I mean, if you've gotten this far, you're probably enjoying. And I am so happy to share one of my favorite game series with you. And I can't believe we're on the last of them. So, and almost on my favorite case. So next time, I will talk to you guys then.